Hello and welcome to this week's angling vlog. You join us on the banks of the secret lake. In typical fashion, it's overcast and wet, which always seems to be on this venue. Today we're going to be fishing with Maize and Particle to catch some carp. It's £11 dark chestnut common. Didn't take too long to find that first Maize stacker of the day. An excellent start to the vlog, and hopefully it's going to continue. So the rods are out, let's get this fish back and see if we can get another one. One last look at it before it goes back. Back it goes. So here we are on the banks of the secret lake, and what a start we've had with that lovely common. And when you can see in the distance there, Mark's playing a fish, and a video will be on his channel shortly on the Cheshire Particle page. I'm sure he's blogging today. And that is the lake. You can see it's quite weedy, and the weed has got worse since our last visit. But what you can see is some of the trees are now starting to have that tinge of brown to them, and autumn is beginning to take hold. I've just had the pike order in, so the lads who are looking forward to the piking, then hopefully there should be some videos to come in the next month or two. But that is the lake. There is a playlist for the secret lakes, and I'll put a link to the top of the screen now if you want to check out the previous videos. But as a summary, what really was happening is this far line here seems to be the area that holds quite a few fish, and consequently the right hand rod has been going quite a bit, and that has continued today with that fish. So what we've got is one rod up the right hand side, and if you can see them tufts, that's what a marker that I used to bait up, and we're just baiting up this area here, not too close to the weed, because obviously the runs are screamers, as you'll see on the playlist if you go back and watch the videos. The other rod does leave a bit of a conundrum, because as I say, most of the bites seem to be coming off this right hand margin. So that rod today, I've just been putting a single bait out to show him fish, and there was a couple of bubbles here when we first arrived, so I've put a single Maize stacker out on that. The right hand rod has also got one as well, so fingers crossed it won't take too long for the rod to turn off again. So I'm very privileged to have access to a lake like this, and I'm going to be open and honest like I am always on the channel. If you've been following me on social media, you'll know that next year they're planning to go France carp fishing with Mark. Now what this lake offers me is a place to come and learn, and when I better say learn, I'm honest with you, the basics like clipping up and using markers, you know, to go the same distance every time. I'll be using the lake next year to practice spodding and finding little features. It's a great little sand pit for me to learn on, because come September next year I want to go out on that trip and be confident in me fishing. I am confident in catching carp, but I want to go out there and be able to do the basics and catch carp, and that includes spodding, you know, feature finding, and also casting accurately time and time again and getting that bait on a spot. So that's what I'll be using this lake for, you know, to learn on. A little bit about the lake: it has got about, as I said, about 211 carp were stocked 5 to 10 years ago, and it's been left pretty much wild since then. So what's in here is anyone's guess, you know, up to £20, maybe above 20. We've been getting carp to high teens, and as you can see, it's great fun. So hopefully that explains a bit about the lake, about my approach to the lake and what I'll be using it for. One thing about the lake and the carp is you've got to keep the bait going in. When I first arrived, I come round here and put some bait on the spot, and by the time I'd set up and cast in, say it took about 10 minutes for the bite, and it's been quiet since, and basically the carp have cleared the spot out. So back round, we get some more bait on the spot and then recast the rod. So while we're around here putting the bait in, let's have a quick talk about the bait that we're using. It's a particle mix, a party blend from Cheshire Particle. In there you've got tares, hemp, maize, few tigers, a right grubbing mix in there. Lots of little particles to keep the fish in the swim as much as possible. And for this venue, and for runs waters like this, it is the mix to be going with. You see there's all different particles in that are going to keep them carp in that swim for as long as you can. And for me, not having to walk around there and put it in, that is the ultimate game. And the beauty of the mix, if you're using maize, in the mix that you buy, you've got your hook baits, and it's just a case of picking out a couple of hook baits to go on the hook. So we'll have a look at the setup that we're going to use today and get them rods back out. So setup for the session is my ProLogic C3 rod. These rods I've caught me pike, carp, tench, the lot. They are coming sadly to the end of their life. The spigots are nearly gone on them, but they're one of them rods that you have in fishing that you never get rid of. They hold so many happy memories, and hopefully more to come, but they are getting near the end. If anyone knows if there's anything that can be done, whether you can put carbon in the spigot, to build it up, is that possible? And say I'd love to be able to increase the longevity of that rod. But that is the rod that I'm using today. The reel that I'm out with is the first session out with the Carp Zelos mini pit reel in 6,000 size. Picked this reel for this for piking really, but picked up 2 extra spools for the carp fishing. It's a new type of reel to me. It hasn't got a bait runner on the back, so you set the tension at the front when you're setting your alarms, and then obviously you tighten up as you play the fish. So that's going to be new to me. With regards to the piking, you don't really use the bait runner for me piking anyway, so yeah, I'm excited to catch some pike on it, and even more excited that I've just had a carp on it. So hopefully there'll be a few more to come today. So I've got 10-pound line, and I've got an ESP tungsten leader, a lead clip, and on there I've got a 2-ounce lead, and I'm doing as much as I can to drop the lead, just so they can try and get the fish through the weed. I've got a Carp rig sleeve, behind which is a quick change link. The sleeve just pulls over the top of that and keeps it all in place. The line that I'm using, I've got ESP tungsten and also Corda IQ in 20-pound, and it's a good solid hook link down to a size 6 microbarbed Corum hook, and on the end I've got 2 pieces of maize. Simple, and I'll guarantee it'll work today. And there we go, that rig working well. Like with all my fishing, I keep it simple and only change things and make things harder if you've got to. Try easy first, because a lot of the time easy works, and as anglers we do have a tendency to overcomplicate things. Nice consistent casting onto the area, clipped up as you've seen, simple baiting and a nice simple rig. Second fish of the session, and another one of them lovely nutty commons, nutty in colour and always nutty on the bank. I can feel this one tensing up. Let's get it straight back. While we're sat underneath the car waiting for the bite on this venue, why not take a look at a recent session where I went out in search of carp off the surface. It was a lovely evening on the Belmont estate and conditions were perfect. So let's go and take a look at that session while we're waiting for these rods to scream off. Just come on to yew tree with some bread, because it's absolutely perfect conditions for catching a few carp off the top. What we've got is a wind blowing straight into this corner, and in the corner all the scums collected, and as you can see there's 1 or 2 carp just below the surface. So any bread that we throw in front of us is just going to drift down nicely to where they're waiting, almost like trotting for carp. And as you've seen there, we've had 1 or 2 fish. And with this type of fishing, you can sometimes target fish you want to catch. And this one has been coming in, taking the bread. But the thing that stood out with this one was that beautiful mottling on its head. How beautiful is that? And it shows sometimes they don't have to be big to be beautiful fish. And what an adventure that was that evening, fishing for them carp off the top. It was great fun. Back to here now, and the rod's just gone off with this lovely, again, nutty common. They don't half fight in this water. To say it's quite deep off the rod tip, and great fun. And lovely catching these common carp in such lovely surroundings. It's been a day of all weathers. We've had sun, rain, wind, the lot. Moving into the last hour of the session now, the 3rd common of the day. Let's get it straight back. So one thing Mark does say to me that makes a lot of sense with Particle, and he said it since I've met him, is when people put a boilie over the top of Particle, it's the wrong thing to do sometimes, because the fish are eating all these different things. Why would you put a big pink pop-up over the top of it that stands out so much? One might be to get a bite quicker, but if they're eating that and they're confidently picking up these bits of Particle all the time in the swim, then why not just use a piece of maize like that one there over the top? It does make a lot of sense in theory, and my fishing is all about, you know, things that make sense and simplicity, and that is a simple theory that makes a lot of sense. What a way to end the session. We're into the last hour, so could possibly be the last fish. You have to excuse the wind, because say you get all seasons on here. But that's a lovely way to end the session. My favourite type of mirror carp, where they've got that orange flank and dark top, and just that orange tint to the fins. It's a lovely fish. Made up with that, absolutely made up. Let's get it straight back. When you buy, you know, a Particle mix, your hook baits are in the Particle. So in here today, you can obviously, like I'm using triple maize or double maize as a hook bait, like that. Or you can pick out a piece of maize and a tiger nut. So a piece of tiger nut with a piece of maize on top. And it really is match the hatch. The fish come in and they're picking up bits here, bits there, bits everywhere. And they're just picking up what they're naturally confident eating. So right at the end of the session, Mark come round for the brew, and in no time at all my right hand rod screamed off. A proper rip roaring take like all the ones previous. Not too long after, with the fish in the net, the other rod tore off, and we ended the session with a beautiful brace of carp in the net, and a lovely way to end the session. Thank you very much for watching. Tight lines in your own fishing, and I'll catch us all next time. Tight lines.